A lot of people want to know the value of leadership. A lot of people want to know the value of experience. And I'm going to explain it to you guys. And in terms of investing and companies that are currently not being given the valuation that they deserve, but you might find it a great investment opportunity, right? So I'm going to talk about PSA graded cards, the company Professional Sports Authenticator, PSA. So this is a company that's been around for 25 years plus. They grade collectibles, comic books, video games, and even, well, mainly baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, Pokemon cards, you name it, right? They grade collectibles. And this company, PSA, built, this industry out of an office or two. They were on the West Coast initially, then the East Coast, but their membership and or their streamline was local card shops send in submissions, they pay a fee, and they get their cards graded and they get back to them, in due time. And they built this company. And they've been running it for 25 years. So now that the company GameStop and Ryan Cohen, who's a problem solver, who's an e-commerce genius, says, you know what, there's a problem here. The problem is time, value. How do we fix it? And the time value proposition is, I have all of these products that I sell. GameStop sells football cards, baseball cards, basketball cards, Pokemon cards. And as they sell them, they want to initiate a rip and submit mindset, meaning everybody gets to buy the cards, open them, bring them back to GameStop, and GameStop will ship them to PSA for you. Now you have a hub for PSA. Maybe it's 2,000 GameStops in America that allow you to grade and ship. So now we have a problem. And that problem is PSA cannot handle the amount of submissions that it was given. GameStop fixed this for them. It created this problem. It's a good problem. It's a working man's business. It's almost the reverse of like what Amazon was trying to do, where I know Amazon, everybody tries to crown them as the champion of retail just because they do the most, but they also fail the most. They'll try to open up physical Amazon stores and they don't survive because Amazon wants to have a physical presence in their e-commerce world. And it helps. It helps logistically. It helps with delivery times and freight and shipping, and it'll help you with just cost cutting and or better cost average per ship. So they're trying to make cuts elsewhere, robots and people. I'll leave that alone. PSA has, since the partnership with GameStop, they've actually multiplied their involvement in grading cards, and they now are building infrastructure all over the world. They're putting shops in multiple places: Florida, Canada, I believe China, Europe. They've got them everywhere. Okay, so they're expanding, and that's purely because of GameStop. And for anyone that's oblivious to it, maybe you missed, GameStop graded over 1 million cards in the first 6 months. PSA has now surpassed last year's total cards graded with a quarter to go. So 25% increase easily. I think it's 30 to 40, if I'm not mistaken, this year. They're already over 15 million cards graded. And they're doing quite well. PSA is. So, all right, we got it all out of the way. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I draw the picture for anyone who's new, doesn't understand that this company called PSA is a privately owned company. Their parent company is Collectors Universe, and that's okay. You can be all of the above. What you can't do is deny the value that PSA has increased overall valuation of the company because of GameStop. You can't deny that. So now this is what we call the GameStop effect. And you're looking at Amazon, and you're looking at Google, and you're looking at Nvidia. You're looking at a lot of companies that make pledges of money to companies, and those in turn companies like CoreWeave, like ARM Holdings, like Supermicro Computers, like Taiwan Semiconductor, All of these companies are getting valuations instantly based off of money pledged. Not an actual, operation. I'll give you this example. Nvidia has $30 billion of back orders, allegedly, on chips that they can't produce. They're trying to design these chips, and they're saying this is the demand for these chips. Okay. Well, I can only tell you what the demand is for PSA graded cards because there's a backlog and everyone's waiting. And I'm equating cards to chips, and I'm going to tell you why, guys. Because as you try to solve the problem, you're creating the value. NVIDIA is trying to solve problems, and it can't because it doesn't have the infrastructure to do it. The same bottleneck issue that NVIDIA might have, and I apologize, I got cops going off onto a house right now. There's like 4 of them, and I'm watching. Anyway, back to the train of thought. NVIDIA's allowed or afforded or given a premium on their value, on the company they're doing business with, their value. Everything's happening, and it's not making sense to me from a value standpoint. And I'll tell you why. Because GameStop created this monster that nobody wants to see GameStop no more. They want Shady. He's chopped liver. No, I'm joking. Okay, these cops are walking up on people. All right. They're not tyrants. They're just doing their job. All right, we're good. Anyway, back to the story. So here's my thing. Companies like NVIDIA get valuation for inventing new companies, pumping new companies, and making them valuable, right? Just for the term itself. But what have they really produced, or what have they really done? Absolutely nothing. They have done nothing. They're just, hey, we're going to put money into this company, and some fruit's going to come out of it. No, you see, GameStop literally started something, created a problem, yet it was actually to solve an issue. And now that company that did business with GameStop over these last 2 years is infinitely more valuable. Like, their operation has increased tenfold. And where's the value given to GameStop for that? Like, if I'm valuing GameStop, right, from a value standpoint, GameStop's making themselves money, which they've already made like $300+ million this year. It'll be over $500 million by the time the year's done. And so they're making $500 million just for themselves. How much money did they make for PSA? They didn't ask for a cut. They didn't force it in there. They just said, hey, we're going to offer this service. We're going to charge for this. We're going to recognize. What they're going to do is they're going to condition their shopper, train their shopper, the consumer, that this is the way business is done. This is the functionality of how to get your cards graded, what GameStop can offer. So I just think that it's better leadership, smarter relations. But what I'm trying to get to you this morning is they have not given one value to GameStop on the stock itself, on the stock market, that would equal the amount of money that they've made themselves and what they've made for other people. So I would like to think that a percentage of value from PSA's valuation should be given to GameStop. And nobody knows it because PSA is a private company, and last time they did an audit on them, and they were like, oh yeah, they're worth $4 billion. Okay, whatever. I don't know what you think you could buy it for today, but if you're grading 15 million cards, and there's fees involved there, and then you have a whole bunch of assets as far as what you're building, I'm sure you're expanding at 20 to 30%. So these are good problems to have. But I just want to know if you're going to start giving valuation to companies for relationships, I think GameStop needs to be at the top of that list for what they've done for PSA. That's just me. But when I look at it and I hear it, I'm buying GameStop shares today for $22. Guess what it was a year and a half ago? $22. Maybe even less, because they were really knocking it down. But just a year ago, it was $22, right? So you tell me no improvements, even though they've made more money, they have more cash, and zero improvement on the stock price. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not sad. I'm just like, okay, well, you're going to keep giving me a discount, I'm going to keep buying it. Literally. So that was a conversation I want you guys to realize, that when you do start looking at valuations for companies, look at what your company does for other companies and give that value and see where the value ends up. So I think we're at the top. I think we're at the top of misdirection. I think we're at the top of this market, realizing that the AI dollar is not a dollar that you can actually give value to. It's just not there. There's no return on it. And although it does complement, efficiency, I just want to be treated fairly when it comes to GameStop. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take off, guys. I got things to do today. I'll get at you. Peace.